Hey, it's David. Hope everything is going spectacularly for you. I want to share with you what really, truly is the greatest secret, not only on this planet, but in the universe. I'm sure many evolved races out there in the cosmos know this. The reason why it's secret is it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy for everyone on this planet right now, to keep it secret from themselves. And it's just that we are held captive by the false self, the ego. We're stuck in the state of Maya, as the old Sanskrit writings tell us. The movie The Matrix, we're stuck in the Matrix. We think it's real. We think what we think is us, and it's not. It's a total illusion. And the ego beast, which it is that which is called the devil, Satan, in all religions. Once you start practicing impartial self-observation, honest, impartial self-observation, and you separate yourself up here in your mind, as I've discussed in the video, the power of surrender, the power of forgiveness, surrender, and honest, impartial self-observation. Watch that. That's probably my most important video. Right there. And start practicing it. It doesn't take long. Within 2 weeks, if you can get yourself practicing this all day, impartial self-observation, you're going to see that everything that the thinking part of our mind is doing and how it's causing us to react is all negative. It's all deceptive. It's all self-destructive. The traits of that which is called evil, Satan, devil, is deception. Number one. The ego has fooled us into thinking that we're it. How dangerous is that? I mean, as a person who is been practicing this long enough and fairly awake and aware, I see the insanity that people live in their lives in others. And I'll give you a couple examples in a minute. You're not it, and there's only one way to determine this, and that is the impartial self-observation. To step back and put yourself in a third-party observation point of view and watch the damn thing. Look at its motivations. See that it's creating nasty feelings in you. Anything negative that you feel, any suffering that you incur, is all of it is created by the false self ego beast. All of it. Everything loving and genuine and real is all of the higher self, the true self, which lives in the moment. It's simply the consciousness that lives in the here and now with full awareness of what's happening. That's it. So you got stuck in the trance-like state, false self. Come out of it, stop it, direct your awareness into the moment. Huge difference. Huge difference. Now, what happens to a lot of human beings is and this usually happens around the age of 16 to right around 18, give or take a couple years, okay? This can happen a lot longer. I have a relative who it didn't happen to them till they were like 40, something like that. They get locked in. They completely identify with whatever programming belief system is in the ego, and they go, okay, this is it. This is my set of values and beliefs for my life. And anything that is in conflict with that is wrong. And I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to surrender my beliefs to it. And boom, that's a very, very bad thing. Most of those people who are locked in to the identity like that, after that happens, God could stand up here before them and tell them that, and they still wouldn't believe it. So it's a very, very bad thing, okay? But the three pitfalls of life are arrogance, pride, and stupidity. Arrogance and pride equal stupidity. The arrogance of the ego, thinking that it knows, it's locked in now, it thinks, I know, okay? This is my way. Anything in conflict, I'm not going to agree with, I'm not even going to look at. The pride, that's the part that stubbornly holds on to that. The ego, again, it does not care about love or truth, it just wants to be right. And of course, when you're locked into that, you make stupid decisions. So, that's the pitfall which virtually everyone is stuck in right now, some more than others. I'm going to give you a couple examples. I had a friend, and there was a real, connection there. What that connection is like that you feel for another person, where you almost instantly recognize them. And there was a great love. Unfortunately, he was a heroin addict. We were both musicians, and we jammed together once, and it was like magic, man. Us two together, wow. We made some amazing music. And we didn't get back together again. I can't remember what happened. I think I was trying to get him back together, and he was putting it off. I wasn't fully aware that he was a drug addict at that point. I had asked him about it. He denied it. I suspected it. Some years later, when I had a really nice recording studio, I tried to get a hold of him again, and I found out for sure because I talked to his mother. He agreed to get back to get together and work on music, and of course he never showed up. This is the insanity of the ego. It holds us addicted to its desires. That addictions are all of the ego. See? Now, had Danny chosen to wake up and say, look, this is crazy, I don't want to live this way anymore, in 2 months or less, working with the impartial self-observation and practicing meditation and dietary changes, he could have pulled himself out of that and really got rooted into moving in, growing into a beautiful, beautiful life. The opportunities that we had together were immense and destroyed by his ego. There was another person who I was working with, interested in the meditation, starting to learn. this person was given miracles. I told her to expect a miracle and to look for it. And she got an amazing one. Her locker number at work, which she never found, I actually found it, was 69, which is yin yang, which is the symbol of universe. So the universe was telling her, look, you're God, baby. I'm going to cut the story short. There were 2 more. God kept telling her she needed to work with me. Get with me. She wouldn't do it. She was participating in some rather abhorrent behaviors, lying, living the lies of the ego, basically. It wasn't her. She's a beautiful being. And so I ended up copying and pasting and putting it into an email to her so she could see it, letting her make her own decision with how she wanted to deal with that. It freaked her out, which I figured it would, and she will not talk to me now. I tried to make up with her fairly recently. Wrote a little makeup note. Try to pull her out of it, get her to get into forgiveness and start letting go of that darkness that she carried for me. It was intense. And again, this is the self-destructive behavior of the ego. A relationship with me. It was just full of love. I have nothing but love for her and everyone else. But the ego wouldn't have it. And she had gotten locked in to thinking that's who she is and that she needs to protect herself from the big bad wolf here that's really the good guy. Anyways, so the closing line in this little makeup note I wrote and gave to her was, okay, let me back up a little bit here before I get into that, because this is really quite magical and my favorite miracle to this day, and will really show you, demonstrate the destructiveness of the ego. So I asked her to make up. She didn't say a word. She looked away in disgust, and so I knew there was no way in hell she was going to do that. And again, basically that's all I did was copy and paste that, try to get her to wake up in other communications. Wasn't happening. Gave her the note, said if you change your mind, let me know. The next day, very next day, and she just happened to be in a position close enough where she could come out and see this double rainbow. Well, we were both working together, right? And when I first saw it, I knew that was God saying, look, here's you two right here. We want you to work together. You're powerful healers together. So that night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I get, it's not uncommon for me to wake up in the middle of the night and get insights. And I woke up and it just came to me. I said something about a double rainbow in that letter, I think. So I got up, I checked it out. Sure enough, the closing line in that letter was, let's say we put a double rainbow over the storm and move back into unconditional love. And lo and behold, the next day, God manifests a double rainbow, puts us both in the perfect position so we can both see it together. How cool is that? God is literally saying, look, get together, you two. And she would not have it. So the next day, I went in, okay, so that day, the day after the rainbow, I go in and I just told her, look, do you remember the closing line in the blah, blah, blah? And I told her what it was about the double rainbow. And I said, and what did I show you yesterday? She went a double, she kind of smiled a little bit and said a double rainbow, walked away. No change, nothing. She is ignoring direct communication from God. in the most awesome, amazing ways. And that, if that is not insane, why would anyone walk away from this kind of relationship, from this kind of magic, from these miracles, from the possibilities that are there? So what you need to do is start doing the impartial self-observation within yourself. And don't allow the damn thing to cut you off from anything. Remember, if it's negative in any way, it's it. And look at it and see how it's doing it, the thoughts behind it, its intentions. It just wants stuff from the outer world. It wants people to like it. It wants people to give it what it wants. It wants people to feed its addictions. And again, all you have to do is watch it. Just watch. This is the greatest secret right here. You can go up to anyone on the street and tell them it, and it's like you just talk to a brick wall. The ego just locks them out of it. It's got this self-protecting mechanism that it gets the being to buy into, and boom, it's all over. How many, you could go out and for a month, a year, the rest of your life, and tell people that this is what's causing all their happiness. Explain it perfectly. Give them the opportunity and the technique like I just did to you. Say, look, prove it to yourself. They won't do it. They will not do it. Unfortunately, there has to be some sort of tragedy, great pain, for the spiritual awakening to happen. A person has to become fully spiritual awake in order to get onto this, okay? So that is it. It's like that secret keeps itself. But it's not a secret to you anymore. It's not. And you can have an amazing life. You are an incredibly powerful, loving being. And don't accept anything less than that. And when you're watching it, don't judge it. Don't judge anything. All you have to do is watch. Just watch and see. And move back into the moment. Keep trying to come out of the trance and back into the moment. When you go back in, look at it. See it from the third party. See what it is. See the negativity. See that it's ego. It's not you. Don't cop into it. Direct your feeling, your awareness of the feeling in the body. Put space between the thoughts and back into the moment. All day, every day. This is, if you heed this, if you're awake enough and aware enough to heed this, it will serve you in a way where your life will become one amazing miracle after another, and the greatest miracle is to dwell in love, in the moment. You are beautiful. You are divine right now. Peace, love.